In this lecture, we are going to discuss about the procedure to convert a given NFA with epsilon closure to NFA without epsilon closure, or we can say that to the equivalent DFA. So before this procedure or before this conversion process, you should also watch the video for NFA to DFA conversion, because this process is quite similar to NFA to DFA conversion, and also the lecture 19 for the introduction to NFA with epsilon closure. So what are the NFA, what are the null moves, etc. will be has covered in the lecture number 19. So starting with this procedure, for example, we are starting with the procedure by taking an example. So here is the example of NFA with epsilon closure. So the regular expression for this was this. We have covered this in detail in the last lecture. So this A star, B star and C star. Now this is the NFA with epsilon closure for this given regular expression. Now we have to convert this NFA to equivalent NFA without epsilon moves, or we can also call it DFA, because resulting in some books you will found the notation NFA without epsilon closure, and some book will you will be having the DFA. So all the procedure will be same whatever the statement is. Now this is the equivalent transition table for this given NFA with epsilon closure. Here we are having three input symbols A, B and C, and last we have the epsilon, because we are also having the epsilon move. So epsilon, the input along with the input symbols, epsilon will also be the part of transition table. So here from Q0 we are having epsilon move to state Q1, and we are having state epsilon move to Q2 from Q1, right? From Q2 we are having no epsilon move, so here we are having null or dead state. You can also neglect these states. These are the dead moves or no moves. We can say that we are having no moves from for this these input symbols from these states. Next, this is the closure of the states, given states. Here the closure of Q0, Q1 and Q2 is given as this, because from epsilon closure of Q0 will include Q0 and all those states that are reachable from Q0 without reading any input symbol. So as it is clear from the diagram, from Q0 we can move to Q1, and from Q1 we can move to Q2. So we can say that we can move to state Q2 and Q1 from Q0 without reading an input symbol. So Q1 and Q2 will be included in the epsilon closure of the Q0, and the state itself will also be included. From same way, from state Q1 we will be having Q1, and also we have a null move to state Q2, so Q2 will also be included. From state Q2 we are having no further null move, so only the Q2 will be included, because being on a state means we are on that state even without reading an input symbol. So epsilon closure will also include that state in the closure. Okay. So now we have to convert this NFA with epsilon closure or epsilon moves to NFA without epsilon closure. So for that we have to follow a conversion process. Now for conversion process we have to define all the tuples of the resulting DFA. So here we can also write NFA. Here I have written DFA, so we can also write NFA. So for the given, or we can say that for the resulting DFA, only the input symbols are same as the given NFA, because input symbols are going to be same for both machines, for the given machine and for the resulting machine. Those will be A, B and C. Next requirement is the both machines should have the same language, means language of given NFA with epsilon closure and the language of resulting DFA without epsilon closure must be same, means they must accept the same set of string and they must accept the same set of strings. So language of both machines, given and the resulting machine, should be same. So these are our requirements, and unlike NFA to DFA conversion, even initial state is not same as a given NFA. In NFA to DFA conversion we were taking same state as NFA. Initial state were same in resulting and given NFA. So but here we are having only input symbol to be considered from the given NFA. Rest we have to calculate initial state and all other states, right? So starting with the process, firstly we are calculating the initial state for the resulting DFA, and next we have to follow the same process, means starting with the initial state we will be finding out the transition for all the states, and if we encounter any new state, next we have to consider that state as new state and we have to find out the transition for that new state. So the process is same, but in this case we have to find out the closures at every step. So starting, we have to start with the initial state for the resulting DFA, and initial state of resulting DFA is here named as S, or you can say that S or the initial state of the resulting DFA will be the closure, epsilon closure of the initial state of given NFA. So for this NFA with epsilon closure, the epsilon closure of this initial state will become initial state of the resulting DFA or NFA without epsilon closure. So here the initial state is named as S, and that is equal to epsilon closure of initial state of given NFA, that is Q naught, and this is equal to this Q naught, Q1 and Q2. So this is our initial state of next resulting DFA. So we have to start the process with this state only, this as the initial state, and we have to construct the transition table like NFA to DFA conversion we were constructing the table. So here also we are going to construct the table. So starting with the procedure, S state is finalized, that initial state is going to be this only. So here we have abbreviated the new state as S. You can also use the direct states without renaming it, but it's always easy, or we can say that a good practice to rename the states. So here we have renamed the initial state as S, but the state is this. Now starting with the table, here we have the table with the initial state Q0, Q1 and Q2. Now we have to define transition for A, B and C for all the input symbols from this state. The procedure is same. Like in NFA to DFA conversion, we were checking the moves from all the states, and then we were having union of the states, resulting sets. So we have to follow the same procedure. The only change is that we have to find out the closure of resulting states, right? So starting, now initial state is identified as Q0, Q1, Q2. Now we have to find out the transition for A, transition for B and transition for C. For this, the procedure is same as NFA to DFA conversion, but we have to find out the closure. Now the resultant set is goes as input to the epsilon closure function. Now we have to find out the closure of moves from state S for input symbol A. Now this expanding this equation to next equation, as we have to find out moves from Q0, Q1 and Q2, because S is basically Q0, Q1 and Q2. Now we have to find out the moves for input symbol A from the Q0, Q1 and Q2. This was the same process that we were doing with NFA to DFA conversion also. Now expanding this to transition from Q0 to input symbol A, transition from Q1 for input symbol A, transition from Q2 for input symbol A. Now this that we were checking in NFA to DFA conversion also. So this is the, we have to perform union of these sets. So after performing union of these sets, we were getting Q0 only, because these are the null moves, means we are zero move. We are having no move from Q1 for input symbol A, and we are having no move from Q2 for input symbol A. So the resulting set is Q0 only. Now we have to perform the union, closure of this, and the closure of Q0 is the state S itself. So we are getting the same state for input symbol A from the initial state, means we are having a self loop at initial state. So here we just write the initial state as transition for input symbol A. So we are having a self loop at initial state, right? So we have to repeat the same process for input symbol B. Next we have to find out the transition for input symbol C. So this is the same process that we have to repeat again and again. Now working on input symbol B. So here this I have written this. I just remove the steps to clarify the things. Now for input symbol B, we have to repeat the same process. Epsilon closure of moves from S for input symbol B. Now expanding this, epsilon closure of moves from Q0, Q1 and Q2, because this is set is S. Okay, right? Q0, Q1 and Q2 for input symbol B. Now performing union of Q0 for input symbol B from Q1 for input symbol B and Q2 for input symbol B. We have to perform union, and after union we will be getting Q0 for input symbol B. We have no move, and from Q1 for input symbol B we are having Q1, and from Q2 we are having no move. So we have to perform union of these sets, and after performing union we will be getting Q1. Now we have to find out the closure of Q1, and the resulting state is this Q1 and Q2, because closure of Q1 was Q1 Q2. Now we are renaming the state as A. So here we have renamed this state Q1 and Q2 as A. So same is the written in the table, because we are having from S we are having move to state A for input symbol B, or A is equivalent to Q1 and Q2, set Q1 and Q2. So we can also write A here, S here. So this is up to you. You can use the abbreviations or the full state description in the transition table. Now we have to repeat the same steps for transition for input symbol C. So these are finalized. Now we have to find out the transition for input symbol C. So repeating the same step, now we have to find out the union of this, this and this for input symbol C from all the states, right? So after performing this union from input symbol from Q0, Q1 and Q2 for transition to for input symbol C, we are getting Q2 only. Now this is up to this point we are having same steps as NFA to DFA conversion. Now we just need to find out the closure of Q2, and the closure of Q2 is comprises of Q2 only, and we are renaming the states as B, or we can also write B here. So Q2 is identified as B. So you can use abbreviation or the state name. Now transition for the initial state are complete, and while finding out the transition for initial state, we are encountered with two new state. We have already covered this state, means this state is completed. This is new state, and also this is new state. Now we have to find out the transition for Q1 and Q2. So now we have to find out transition for this state, and this is the newly identified state, and next we have to find out the transition for Q2. And while repeating this process, if we are come across any new state, then we have to consider that state as well for the transition, right? So this is same, we have to consider this A state before B state, because A appears before B in the sequence. So we have to consider A first, and then we can consider the state B. So now we have to find out the transition for input symbol A, B and C from the state A for all the input symbols. So repeating the same steps. Now A is Q1 and Q2. So for input symbol A, we can directly check in the table, as we are having no moves. We are having no moves for input symbol A from neither from Q1 nor from Q2. So we will be having a null. Okay, so we can write for all transition for all input symbol at the same time. So for input symbol A, this is the union set, this is the union set for input symbol B, and this is the union set for input symbol C. Okay, the process change in the procedure is that we have to find out the epsilon closure of the resulting states. Now for input symbol A, as we are having no move, so here we are getting null, here we are getting Q1 only, and for C we are getting Q2 only. So same, here we are getting null. For input symbol B, we are getting Q1 only, here we are getting Q1 only, and here we are getting Q2 only. So the closure, as we are working on the closures, so we have to find out the closure of Q1 here and the closure of Q2 here. So closure of Q2 here, closure of Q1 here. So on closure of Q1 we are getting the same state A, and closure of Q2 we are getting the state B. So same is written here in the table as A for transition for input symbol B, and C for B for input symbol C, right? So here the resulting states are A and B, and here we are getting the dead state or no moves. Next, now the newly identified state was B. So we have to find out the transition for input symbols from the state B. Now repeating the same process for input symbol transition from state B. So B comprises of only Q2, as B comprises of Q2 only. So we have to find out the closure of this, and closure of this. We need not to union with any other states for any input symbol, because the set comprises of Q2 only. So here for input symbol A we are having nothing, for input symbol nothing, for input symbol C we are having closure of Q2, that will be the Q2 or the same state. So here repeating the process, for input symbol A, B and C we have to find out the moves from Q2 for all the input symbols, and now we have to find out the closure of resulting union set, and we are getting phi, and here we are getting B. So B is written as Q2 here, you can also write B here. So this is the final transition table. As we got no new state, we are done with the process. So we are done with this conversion process, and we can also write the table in shorthand form like this: S, A and B. Here S is the initial state, that is closure of initial state, and A is Q1, Q2 and B is Q2. So we can also construct this by writing these abbreviations, and we can also use this tabular notation. Either of these notations are right, means you can use any one of these notation. So here this is the final resulting conversion tables, and this is the final transition diagram. Okay, you can also draw the transition diagram using the complete set here as Q0, Q1, Q2, or you can use the names as shortened names as SAB. So this is up to you how you construct the transition diagram using abbreviated name or the detailed names. Either notations are okay. Thank you. So this was a complete procedure to convert NFA to DFA. Don't get confused. This is same as NFA to DFA conversion. Just we are taking the epsilon of the resulting states. Okay, epsilon closure of resulting state. Rest procedure is same. Now these are the questions that you have to try by yourself, and I will be providing you with the solution. So this is the first question, second question and the third question. In the question we discussed, we were having 3 input symbols A, B and C, but in all these question we are having only 2 input symbols. So here input symbols are A and B. 2 input symbols are only here. So here we are having 0 and 1, 2 input symbol 0, 1, and here we are also having this input symbol as 0, 1. So these questions are easier than that we have already done. So please try these questions by yourself, and then we will tell you the solutions, right? Thank you.